5 weeks in a row, my number one bet has hit. We're going to make it week number 6 here with UFC Vegas 104. How we doing, everybody? My name is Young Pasty, aka the White Boy Wonder, here today to give you all of my official bets for the card coming up this weekend. Going to give you all of my leans, so bets and plays I'm considering. Going to give you a couple of long shot parlays for you degenerates out there. And then a couple of stayaways. So bets and plays I recommend you do not put your hard-earned money on. Now, as we always do, I got to recap last week, and I must say, we had a pretty good week last week for UFC 313, bringing up the results here right now. That's right, we hit 4 out of the 5 bets, plus 2.932 units on the weekend. Let's go. Good week. Very good week. The only person that let us down was Poatan. And I think he won that fight, round 1, 3, and 5. I think he won that fight with those 3 rounds. But, you know, it is what it is. He lost. Sometimes you can't win them all. I was looking for a clean sweep, but we'll get it this week. Okay? I got some solid plays for you guys, and I'm super excited to give them to you. Before we begin the video, though, if you haven't and you're new to the channel, subscribe, like, comment, share. Your support goes a long way. And my Patreon is free. Links in the description. That's where you can get all of my bets and plays when I actually place them. And I'll post the odds right there and then. That way you can get the odds when they're good. Because come Wednesday here, the odds always sway in the opposite way. You want to be on the other end where you have good odds before everyone gets in and they get bad. So let's go, guys. Official bets for UFC Vegas 104. We're starting with bet number 1. As I said in the intro, bet number 1 has hit 5 weeks in a row. Let's make it week number 6 here. Super confident play. Andre Lima and Damon Blackshear. A 2-pick parlay. Minus 173. We are putting 1.75 units on it. Now, hold on before you start hating on me saying, whoa, this is too juicy. Minus 173, that's crazy. It's going to hit. This shit's going to hit, guys. Okay? So do with it as you wish. Maybe you want to combine it with other plays, but Andre Lima and Damon Blackshear, this shit is going to hit. Each fighter. Andre Lima going up against Daniel Perez. Yes, Daniel Perez is tough, but Andre Lima is the better striker, has a better wrestling advantage. I think has a better gas tank. Maybe he'll drop to the first round, but I think the second and third round he puts on. He's tough, has great power. Daniel Perez is just a little older, and I think out of his prime at this point. Andre Lima undefeated, has the momentum. Three fight win streak in the UFC. Give it to Andre Lima. Second pick of the parlay, Damon Blackshear. My guy's going, it's the same thing here, going up against an older Cody Gibson. Damon Blackshear has elite submission threats and also has some pretty nice ground and pound and takedowns and pretty decent striking as well. So I think he takes it. I think he takes it to the mat. I think he ends up getting Cody Gibson up to the cage, takes him down from there, and gets a nice ground and pound in. So I got Damon Blackshear by KO in that fight, actually. But submissions alive as well. Okay, he has some nasty elite submissions here in the past. You saw the twister against Jose Johnson. That was nasty. Minus 173. I know it's juiced, but it's going to hit. 1.75 units on it. That is the most confident play of the week. And we move on to bet number 2. Bet number 2. Yeah, bet number 2 is on a 4-week losing streak. So I thought Poatan was the big guns last week to save us, but we need to bring in a superhero for this shit. Yes, that's right. We have Ryan Superman Spann plus 143. We are putting 1 unit on it. My boy Ryan Spann moving up to heavyweight. First fight at heavyweight, fighting a Waldo, Cortes-Acosta, who, in my opinion, has not shown me much. He's fought bums. Fought bums and went to decision with some bums as well. Oh, you knocked out Lucas Brzeski. Ooh. And then you went the distance and lost and got beat the crap out of by some old Brazilian who's out of the UFC now at this point, not even fighting. I guess what everyone's concerned about is, Ryan Spann's first fight at heavyweight. What's he going to look like? Is the weight, the weight difference going to be too much? What's he going to look like? I think the weight cut, he won't have one First off, he's in heavyweight, so he's just going to be natural in there, maybe even a little more jacked and juiced. But I think that everyone's taking it too far, and I think that's why he's the underdog here. He has better striking. His submissions are live. He has great submissions, and I think this move up to heavyweight will suit him well because the heavyweight division really isn't that good. It's not. It really isn't. They're giving him a pretty winnable fight here. And as an underdog, I'll take it. Ryan Spann plus 143. We're putting 1 unit on it. Now, bet number 3. You know what it is, guys. It's always a 3-pick parlay for bet number 3, and let's get it going, okay? Leg number 1, we got Kevin Vallejos. Leg number 2, we have Diyar Nurgozhay. And leg number 3, we have the over 1.5 rounds for the Dolidze versus Vettori fight. Sitting at minus 137, we're putting 1 unit on it. Now, the 3-pick parlay, 3 solid picks that we put together for a solid number. Minus 137 is a solid number. All 3 of these are more than likely going to hit. Kevin Vallejos by knockout, okay, against that long, lanky Asian. Diyar Nurgozhay going to knock the lights out of Brendson Ribeiro. And then the over 1.5 for the Dolidze versus Vettori fight. I mean, we saw them go the distance last time. These guys are high-level competition against each other. They're not going to get knocked out in the second round. Okay, it's not going to happen. So over 1.5, more than likely. Yeah, minus 137, pretty good number. We are putting 1 unit on it. The 3-pick parlay, I mean, it's like, oh, fight got canceled. Oh, the fighters got switched. It's like something's happening every week. Like last week, Castaneda fight canceled. So, anywho. Bet number 3, let's get it. We move on. Bet number 4. We have Zaleski plus 3.5 and Dolidze plus 9.5. Put those 2 together, you're sitting at minus 130. Now, what's the plus 3.5 and plus 9.5 mean? Basically, Zaleski, as long as he wins 1 round and the fight goes to decision from all 3 judges, right? As long as all 3 judges let him win 1 round and the fight goes to decision, that bet will hit. Same thing with Dolidze, and it's a 5-round fight, and that's why you see the numbers a little bit higher with him. As long as all the judges at least, give him 1 round, then that bet will hit. So I think that's doable for both of them. In my honest opinion, I think both of them are actually going to win the fight. If you put both of them together, just the money line, sitting at like plus 240, that's a good number too. So yeah, ultimately, at the end of the day, I do think Zaleski wins, and I think Dolidze wins. But I'm putting this bet in for insurance for some shitty judging, to be honest with you. I mean, fuck. A couple of names come to mind, but yeah, I just don't want to be screwed over. Even if it goes by split, or some people have some whack numbers, I think we'll be safe with these numbers here. So minus 130 for the plus 3.5 on Zaleski and plus 9.5 on Dolidze. And we move on to bet number 5, the last of the official bets. Holobaugh, the underdog, sitting at plus 175. We're putting half a unit on it. This is really more of a fade on Alexander Hernandez, who is not, he's all right, but not really that good. And I think Holobaugh is better than him, right? I think this ends up going to a split decision. I saw plus 3.5 Holobaugh sitting at minus 165. I know that's a little bit juiced too, but if you think Alex Hernandez is going to win, but Holobaugh will put up a tough fight, I think the plus 3.5 is another play you could consider. But I think he ends up winning the whole thing by split. I think he's going to have the bigger moments in the fight. I think Alex Hernandez doesn't offer any sort of takedown threats at all, or submission threats at all, where Holobaugh does. I think Holobaugh is maybe a tad slower, but more powerful. Right? He's getting up there in age, and I think that's why people are doubting him, and that's why the number's sitting at plus 175, and he's being counted out here, but I'll take it, man. Holobaugh plus 175, half a unit. Alexander Hernandez, not really that good in my opinion. So, get a little sip of water. Because we're moving on to the leans section. So these are bets and plays I'm considering, but I have not put official money on yet. So just kind of stuff that I'm looking at. First, we'll go over a couple of fighters that I like. First is Hughes, sitting at plus 190. Again, she's being counted out. And I don't know why they're giving this, this Stepahnie girl so much credit and why she's the favorite in this fight. Dude, she has one fight on Dana White Contender Series, went to a draw, and then her next fight in the UFC was a rematch of her Dana White Contender Series fight. You have no UFC experience at all. You went to a draw in your Dana White Contender Series. How do you get a contract? The fight wasn't, I'm going crazy and, jaw drop. Like, it wasn't anything like that. It was a good fight. Both of them were. They were good fights, but they're nothing spectacular. So, and prior to that, yes, she has fighting experience, but doesn't have UFC fighting experience. And Sam Hughes is going up against some high-level competition and beating some, too. Counting her out again. I think she's a better striker. I think she can also get a takedown, get top control, too. People don't think she can. I think they underrate her in that kind of aspect of her game. But it is live. She's done it to people in the past. So I think she can do it to a newcomer here. Yeah. Sam Hughes by decision. But I would just take her on the money line if you're rolling the dice. Plus 190 is not too bad of a number. Next is Eunice Dubin at plus 290. Now, yeah, I picked Carly Giudice to win the fight. But that doesn't mean I can't bet on the underdog, right? I mean, Dubin had an okay knockout on Dana White Contender Series. That's all she's had, but she's gone up against some terrible bums. I mean, their combined records is 0 and whatever. No wins whatsoever. So they're just throwing bitches in there for her to kind of knock out. Honestly, those girls look afraid to even fight that she's fighting in there. But anywho. If you want to roll the dice, Eunice Dubin. I think that Carly Giudice will put on the UFC vet experience. I think she'll go get a late round knockout, second, third round. So after Dubin exhausts all her energy in the first round, because I don't think she has the cardio. But we'll see. We'll see, honestly. So. Moving on to some round props that I like. We got a few here. So first one is the under 1.5 for the Vallejos fight, sitting at plus 110. Yeah, like I said, Vallejos is getting the knockout, dude. He went 3 rounds with Gene Silva, impressive. And other than that, that's his only loss in his career. He's been putting on and knocking people's lights out here and there. And let's be honest, man. His opponent's Chidi. His opponent's... I keep forgetting his fucking name because he's that bad. SeungWoo Choi. SeungWoo Choi. He's that bad. He's 1-4 in his last 5 in the UFC. He's just getting knocked out and beat up. I think this is his last fight. Vallejos is going to get a nice little layup here from the UFC. Put on. Knock his lights out. So under 1.5 for the Vallejos fight. I like the under 2.5 fight for the Cunningham fight. Now, I mean... Dude, SuYoung You versus AJ Cunningham, that fight is just complete trash. And Cunningham just eats shots. He just eats them until he can't no more and ends up getting knocked out. So I just see something happening. And look, maybe Cunningham could pull off a crazy upset and, win against SuYoung You. I mean, not really a fight I'm looking on to bet on the money line side, but I think under 2.5 is live. I think one of them could get a finish, regardless of the fact that it's a low-level fight. So, next, I alluded to this before, under 2.5 in the Giudice fight, plus 135. I do think Giudice is going to end up getting a knockout over Dubin when she's tired. Or, on the flip side, this also covers your butt too. It's at plus 135. Dubin could get one of her knockouts or something over Giudice. I don't freaking know. And then you're still covered at plus money, plus 135. So that's a single play you could potentially do. And then lastly, the over 2.5 rounds for the Lima fight, minus 210. Yeah, dude. Daniel Perez is a tough customer, man. You're just not gonna get him out of there like with ease. So I think he will be able to eat the damage from Lima and go all 3 rounds, have a beat-up face, sitting there with the judges, or sitting there with the ref getting Lima's hand raised. So over 2.5 for the Lima fight, minus 210. Some fighter props that I like. We'll go over these real quick. Couple degenerates calls in here too. So first one's the Vera sub at plus 1100. He's going up against Musasa. I mean, you don't know. We don't know with Musasa. And I always bring this up. I called it with the Gabriela Fernandez. That was in one of my fighter prop leans last time. She submitted Wang Kong. You see these prospects and they have no wrestling game, and then boom, they end up getting caught somehow. So Vera, not very good on the feet, but BJJ, I mean, he could catch him in something. So plus 1100 for that. Can Spann by KO or sub. So either of those plus 400. If you want the double chance, that's sitting at plus 190. So I think he gets the finish on Waldo. I think he does. It's tough for me to determine which one, right? Because he is a pretty good striker. He could find a good catch, but he could find a club and sub too, or just find some sort of takedown and submission on him. So to me, the safer play is plus 190 Spann by KO or sub, but plus 400 on KO, plus 400 on sub individually, not bad either. Josias Nunes by decision, plus 120. Yeah, she's going to beat up that other old Brazilian for sure. And, most of her fights go to decision. Lanky Kong's going to pull out the win there by decision. Nunes by decision, plus 120. Diyar by KO. I said it before in my official bets. So, yeah, he's going to knock the lights out of Brendson Ribeiro. Minus 110. Zaleski decision. Chidi Njokuani is tough. Okay, so I'll give him that. And he has a little bit of a reach advantage. So, he'll probably do a lot of running in the fight. Zaleski's going to have to do a lot of hunting. And I think that they go all 3 rounds. Plus 240 for the Zaleski decision. Holobaugh by subs, sitting at plus 750. Yeah, dude. I mean, he submitted Austin Hubbard. And Hernandez beat Austin Hubbard. I would say barely. I think Austin Hubbard won that fight. I'm a little biased because I bet on Austin Hubbard. But the fact that Kurt Holobaugh could submit Austin Hubbard and beat him, that's why I think he can beat Hernandez, MMA math. And then secondly, I mean, he is live for the sub. He does have some wrestling there. Alexander Hernandez takedown defense, it's okay. But Holobaugh could find something sneaky, end up getting him to the ground, or maybe a club and sub kind of scenario where he finds the good shot, gets him on the back or something like that. So Holobaugh sub plus 750. And lastly, I said this before too, Damon Blackshear KO plus 750. I think he gets the takedown in the ground and pound. Everyone's saying by sub, by sub, by sub. Yes, that's live. Yes, that is live. But KO is live too. The ground and pound. Gibson will just eat those shots on the ground. The ref will call the fight. That's what I think will happen. Plus 750. So those are all the leans that I like. Excuse me. And we move on. This is the long shot parlay section. This week, I got 2 long shot parlays for you. So you can pick and choose from either one. Maybe you like a leg from one and the other. Do what you wish. But this is what I have for you guys for the long shot parlay. So long shot parlay number 1. Here are the 3 legs. Spann by KO/sub. Nunes decision. And Diyar KO. Sitting at plus 1,118. So 11-1. I'll take it. We just went over a couple of those. Actually, all 3 of those. We went over all 3 of those fighter props there. I like all 3 of them. I like them individually, but we threw them all together in a long shot parlay. So 11-1, not too bad. I think all 3 of those are very likely to happen. So long shot parlay number 2. This one's really crazy. Okay, this one's sitting at plus 6,652. Okay, so first we got Damon Blackshear KO, plus 750 there. We got Dolidze decision, and then Lima decision. Yeah, plus 6,652. 66-1. Pretty crazy on the odds. But I think all 3 of them are live, are they not? We went over the Damon. Dolidze, I said it in my picks video. I think that he can get 3 rounds on Vettori. I think he can. And when it comes to rounds 4 and 5, I think he's put the work in. I think he's going to show what he needs to do to win the fight. So give me a Dolidze decision. These guys are going to go to decision for sure. And then Lima decision. I went over that. I mean, Daniel Perez, tough customer, man. So I think he'll go distance with him. So all 3 of those plus 6,652. Ooh, super juicy. Yeah, man, if we hit that, we'll be celebrating. So, all right, last section is my stay away section. So, bets and plays, I recommend you do not put your hard-earned money on. Don't do it. Just don't. I'll tell you what I like, but don't. Okay. First, the SeungWoo You fight and versus Cunningham, AJ Cunningham. The money lines there. Don't bet on them. It's not worth it to put you in a parlay. And Cunningham, I don't think he really isn't having. You know, I think you wins. I just don't think Cunningham has a shot too much at all. So, yeah, I would just stay away from the money line on either of that. Next is the Vera versus Musasa money line. I mean, if you're gonna do anything with these kind of crazy favorite kind of fights, you may want to look at the fighter props because the money lines are crazy. Yeah, Musasa's at like minus 800, which I don't think is warranted at all. Unless he just comes out there and dominates, maybe. We don't know. Vera's older. He's 38. So it's like the only thing I'm just kind of scared of is we haven't seen Musasa tested on the ground at all by anybody. He's just stuffed takedowns. Has he ever gotten taken down and gotten subbed, or he just hasn't seen that kind of threat before. So we'll see. Even though Vera's not like this elite sub kind of person, that's his main game. You know what I mean? That's what he's looking for here in this fight with this young cat. So lastly, the Ryan Spann versus Waldo Acosta props. Now, I think Spann gets the KO or sub. It's just when will it happen, right? Because he's usually a killer in the first rounds, but maybe he needs to do a little bit of work. Maybe he gets caught by Acosta and gets held on the cage for a little bit. I don't know. I think that, it's his first heavyweight fight. Maybe he'll just need to test the waters a little bit before going out there and going crazy. Or maybe we'll just see him do what he usually does and get one of those first round wins. So, yeah, I just would avoid the round props overall for those ones. All right, guys. If you made it this far, thank you so much. Appreciate you making it. If you haven't, subscribe, like, comment, share. We have all the official bets for UFC Vegas 104 live right now here. Let's make it week number 6 for bet number 1. Let's make it another profitable week. We've been hot, guys, so let's keep the heat rolling. Let's keep the heat on, okay? Let's keep it cold outside so we can keep it hot in here. Let's go. Patreon's free. Links in the description. Appreciate the support as always. Let's go. Let's have a great week. Young Pasty out.